There is a version of guilt that doesn't go away when you pray. You confess it, you mean it, you get up and try again. And still, somewhere underneath the trying, the weight is still there. Not loud, not dramatic, just present. A low hum that follows you into worship, into quiet moments, into the spaces where you're most honest with yourself. It sounds like, I know God forgives, but does He forget? It sounds like, I believe in grace, but does grace reach this far? It sounds like, maybe others, but you don't know what I've carried. You don't know how many times I've failed at the same thing. You don't know how far I wandered before I came back. And the fear underneath all of it is this: what if I've used up my chances? What if I'm the exception grace doesn't cover? Isaiah 53 was written for that exact question, not for people who have walked away from God, for people who are trying to come back and aren't sure the door still opens for them. Before we read, hold this one thought. What if your sin was never the obstacle? What if it was the reason He came? There is one image in this chapter that changes the way shame sits in your chest. I can't show it to you yet. The prophet has to build toward it. Because when it arrives, you need to feel the full weight of what it cost. Listen slowly. Isaiah 53, King James Version. Who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs, and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way. And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is silent, so he openeth not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken, and he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Here is what Isaiah 53 is actually saying. Someone else went first, not ahead of you in line, ahead of you into the suffering you were meant to carry. The grief you feel about your own failures, he bore that. The weight of the thing you keep bringing back to God, ashamed it hasn't changed yet, he carried that. The distance you feel when you think your sin has put you somewhere grace can't reach, He was wounded for exactly that distance. Picture a debt you've spent years trying to repay. You make payments. You fall behind. You promise to do better. You fall behind again. And one morning, you receive a letter. Not a statement. Not another bill. A letter that says, "The account is closed. Not reduced. Not refinanced. Paid in full by someone else." Before you ever knew the final number. That is Isaiah 53 verse 5. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The Hebrew word for bruised here means crushed, not inconvenienced, crushed, so that the crushing would not fall on you. This is the suffering servant of Isaiah 53. This is what "by his stripes we are healed" means in its full weight. Healing here is not only physical, it is the restoration of what sin broke, the conscience that wouldn't quiet, the shame that prayer hadn't lifted, the gap between who you are and who God sees. All of it addressed, not by your improvement, by his wounds. And then verse 6 names what every honest person already knows about themselves. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way. Not some of us, all. No one gets to stand outside that verse. But notice how it ends. And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. The weight didn't disappear. It was transferred. From every wandering person who ever lived onto, one willing, silent servant. That servant is Jesus. Isaiah wrote this 700 years before the cross, and still, it reads like an eyewitness account. So when guilt whispers that you are the exception grace doesn't cover, this chapter is the answer. You are not the exception. You are the reason. The suffering servant of Isaiah 53 did not come for the people who had it together. He came for the sheep who had gone astray, for the transgressors he would intercede for the ones who hid their faces from him. And still he opened not his mouth. That silence is not indifference. It is the most costly love ever paid. Father, I have carried guilt that I kept returning to even after I laid it down. Teach my heart to believe what this chapter says is true, that he was wounded for me specifically, that his stripes covered what I could not fix, that the account is closed, not because I finally got it right, but because he bore it all. Let that land today, not just in my mind, in the place where the weight lives. Amen. You are not the exception to grace. You are the reason grace came. A new chapter arrives soon, and it meets you right where you are.